Hello and welcome to a video tutorial of Pencil. Pencil is a free basic 2D animation software which is available to download over the internet and can be used with a Windows, Mac or Linux operating system. So this video tutorial is a third video tutorial in a sequence of very basic tutorials about how to produce very simple animations using this wonderful free software. So in our first two video tutorials, our first video tutorial we put together our bouncing ball. Okay, remember that basically all animation is a sequence of 2D or 3D images that are put together, and rapidly you move from one to the other, and that's what we're doing here at the bottom here at the timeline. You can see we're going over each individual image. In our second tutorial we played around with some of the tools and we colored in our ball. And in this third very basic video tutorial I would just like to introduce you to the concept of different layers in your animations. I'm going to turn this off now. So those of you that are familiar with perhaps Photoshop or some advanced editing software like Final Cut or Avid, you will know that we work in layers. And Pencil Animation also provides a timeline with lots of different layers. Now in this video tutorial we're not going to be looking at the difference between a vector and a bitmap layer. However, you might want to know that we are going to be working with bitmap layers. So I'm actually going to go and take this layer, and I'm actually going to go and remove this layer because I don't want it. So all I've done there is I've selected the layer, I've gone to minus, which is take away one of the layers, and it's just asking me, are you sure you want to delete the selected layer? And I'm going to say yes, I am very sure. So all we've got now is we've just got one layer for an animation, which is a bitmap layer. But it's actually the layer of my ball bouncing up and down. So I'm going to go and rename that layer. I'm going to call it ball because it's the layer of my ball. Now what I would like to do is I'd like to add a second layer to my timeline. So I'm going to go to plus, add layer, and I'm going to go to bitmap layer as well. So I'm going to select this. And this is going to be perhaps my background. So I'm actually going to go and select this and actually call it background. Okay? Because this is going to be the background layer of my animation. Okay? Now just to demonstrate the fact that we are working now with two different layers, I've selected my background layer. Okay? I'm going to go and get my pencil and I'm going to scribble all over my ball. Or at least it looks like I'm scribbling over my ball. Well, I'm not, because what I'm actually doing is scribbling on my layer, which is on top of my ball. I can actually click this little black button now, okay, which is the background, and I can remove that background layer from sight, okay. So you can see that my ball is still there untouched. I've just scribbled all over my front layer. I actually don't like that, so I'm going to throw it in the trash. So what we're going to do now is my background layer needs to be the layer which is actually underneath my ball. Okay, so I'm going to go and swap them around. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Basically, by default, the layer that I added, okay, was the layer that was on top. Now, when I draw, you can see that the pencil, well, in fact, it is coming over. Well, that's because, disaster. I drew on the wrong layer. Alright, we're in trouble. No worries, let's just scrap that one. I'm going to move over to here. My mistake, ignore it. So it's very important you can see that you highlight the layers that you're working on. So I'm going to highlight my background layer, okay, and you can see when I draw this, okay, it's going to go and, oh no, alright, let's ignore this example, okay. You see I'm drawing it. See how that red dot came on top? Okay, that's because I'm drawing in the background. Okay, I'm sure we've all got the point, so I'm going to move on now. So basically what I'm going to do, I'm going to go and put a background to my image. So what's great is you can put an image as your background. Okay, so I'm going to go now, gone to edit and selected images as you just saw. Go down to photo. I'm going to go and get my ball to bounce on the ocean, for example. So click open. And you can see I've now got an image of an ocean. And my ball is going to bounce up and down on my ocean floor. Okay, and that's the idea of layers. So you can see my mistake from that frame there. Keep reminding it of mistakes. The reason I'm not going and correcting it is unfortunately it's going to take me time to, if I go now and select this layer, I can rub around the ball, I suppose. Okay, but because I've actually drawn on the actual ball, in fact, let's just rub it all out and I'll redraw it. Okay, so it's about here. Color it in again as red. There we go. And we're now sorted again. Okay, so I've got my image. Just make sure my image is now in that first frame. Edit, import image. Excuse me. And pictures, photos, sorry. Go down and select that image of the ocean. And we have it. Alright. So now we're going to be able to play the image, put it on loop. And that's a very basic way of using layers. And what's great about that is you also saw me making mistakes and correcting my mistakes, which is what it's all about when it comes to exploring new software. Making mistakes, okay, and you learn from those mistakes. So there you have it, a very simple animation with a background. And that's hopefully a very basic video tutorial about layers in Pencil.